What the fuck is going on a Wednesday night? Oh, I know. It's Naked Reaper. Forgive me out there in Three Witches Land. Normally, I am all painted up like a dead satanic whore. But not tonight because I am on the road. Unfortunately, I did not expect to be on the road extra day because it's my birthday month. And I thought I was only celebrating for 2 days, but officially it's become a third day. So that is why I look the way I do. But I am pleased to welcome back to the underground the awesome Lady Luna and the Devil. So unfortunately, Lady is under the weather, as is most of the fucking United States ever since autumn has hit. Sorry to hear that, but we got the mastermind, the Riff Master General of the band with us tonight. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Happy birthday, by the way, whenever your birthday is this month. So
yeah, it's actually November the 18th.
Hey, we're closing in. You only got 9 more days.
Yeah, for sure. The devil's number. Excellent. Anyhow, yes. So, we just had a few days at the beginning of the month where we could say, let's do it. So we did.
Sure.
And it looks like we already got some folks in the comment section. Kyler, what's happening, my brother? Thank you. It's actually not officially my birthday, but it will be in 9 days. So before we get into the updates, because I got a bunch of them, let's take a quick commercial break to check out the bands of Reapers Underground Productions, and I got a few surprises for you. Check.
Den alten Mythos hinter sich zu lassen. Und so tastet sich blind von Zeitenufer zu Zeitenufer, bis ihm in all dieser Schwärze endlich ein wegweisendes Licht aufgeht.
So that's definitely the alumni of Reapers Underground Productions. But I am proud to say that we have grown by leaps and bounds. We also have Grave Next Door out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We also have back to the Reapers Underground Productions family, Sensation. And I'd like to quickly roll the advertisement for their latest single, Horns Up, Fangs Out. Check that out real quick. Horns Up, Fangs Out! Horns Up! Doing very well, I might add. And also, just added as of this week, let's welcome October Noir to the family. So if we can get that up there real quick. There they are. All right, which we just had last week on the show. But it is all about Lady Luna and the Devil tonight. And the album is Vampiric Visions Volume 1. Well, let's just say you guys are fucking killing it with this record. And I have to commend you guys so much that from the first couple albums, and I loved Mother of All Sin, this record, like, it just stepped up like 5 notches and bitch slapped you with like a pimp hand. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
gotta ask, what made this record different?
I mean, for one thing, it's like definitely the mix. Like, Mother of All Sin, I was like happy with the mix at the time, but like, I kind of made leaps and bounds in like what I've learned about production and stuff. So like the new one just sounds better. Everything sits nicer in the mix, and like we actually, I mean, it's even like simple things like just having delay on Brooke's voice instead of just reverb and stuff. It just sounds better. So
Noticed a little bit of thickness with the voice,
yeah,
and definitely helps it to kind of carry over the mix in general. So
for sure.
And let's talk about the new drummer. Am I correct in saying this?
So we had him on our last album, Mother of All Sin, actually.
Okay.
So the same drummer, but we definitely gave him more to work with this time. Because like last time was like the first time working together, so this time, like we're a lot more in line with like what each other like. And I mean, just for the record, I will say it is a real drummer. But the drums themselves are sampled. They're still programmed just because it's a lot easier to mix and stuff. So they're not cheap samples either. So it can kind of fool some people because I know some people haven't really noticed, but they are indeed not real. But the drummer that composed the parts is a real drummer. So.
Okay, and I think that is what makes the difference all the way through, because it was tight. Like,
yeah,
everything, how it flowed between the double kicks, which is my realm of expertise.
Sure.
I absolutely fell in love with the double kicks on this record. It almost kind of let me try again. Words are hard tonight. Transcended genres almost a little bit with how you guys put these songs together.
Sure.
One of the bands that kind of came to mind that I could like put it up against is Amaranthine. I don't know if you're familiar with them. It's another female fronted band, but they're more like a female power metal band.
Sure.
And I mean, they're killing it. But I mean, I could actually take what you guys have done on this record and put it up against that.
Yeah, you'll have to shoot me that on Instagram just because that's a hard name to pronounce. I don't even know how to spell that, but I'll definitely give that a lesson.
That's no problem. They are from Europe, so I mean it makes sense, right? And they have like the mythical kind of goth kind of thing going. And that's another thing that kind of struck me on this particular record was a little bit more of a goth ethereal doom, if you will.
Sure.
Would I be wrong in saying that?
Not necessarily, but I mean that just comes from like adding more reverb on the guitars and stuff. So like just like Mother of All Sin was kind of dry, so like this one's a lot like just a wetter sound to it. So I can definitely see where and like probably some of the vocal melodies and stuff just
melodies, a lot of the chugga chugga versus just the big open chords, the doom is so really known for. But also the fucking keys were spellbinding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's Brooke. She's very, very good at doing all the choir arrangements.
Trained, am I right?
Yep.
Okay. It shows.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. So she's like extremely good at that. So any of like the big choirs and stuff, that's all stuff that she's worked out. And just going off this one comment that I'm reading here, and like, I'm confused. So the drummer made the samples, but the samples aren't real drums. So the samples and everything are actually Cannibal Corpse samples. So like Easy Drummer 2 that's like software that you can get from TuneTrack, and they have different add-on packs. And so the drum kit that the drum
You just
drum
blew my
kit.
fucking brain.
So like the drum kit we have is like all sampled by I'm pretty sure it's the Cannibal Corpse drummer, which I couldn't actually tell you that guy's name right now, but
It's like something Nowinski, or it's kind of like a Polish last name. I know exactly who you're talking about, and most of my viewers know that particular drummer too, because he's been right there. Right.
Yeah, so it's
there.
like So it's like, he recorded all this stuff in like the TuneTrack studio, or for TuneTrack and whatever studio, and then
Mhm.
they give you his drum kit with like a few different like pre-mixes, and then I just go in and I change a couple pieces of the kit around, and I get like the drum mix I really want. And then when I write my demos, I kind of come up with my drum parts. And then what Austin comes in, and that Austin's our drummer, he comes in and he makes them like he touches it up, makes it a little more human, and then he adds like his flair, like he puts in worthwhile fills, and we'll just kind of discuss like how the song needs to go. So like if we were to ever play live, like he would be our drummer, and like he would play for real. Obviously, like we wouldn't be up there with no drummer, but just because like this is my basement and this is where we record things, so like it's just bringing a drum kit in here. Like I am in the world of technology we're in right now, it's a lot harder to make like human drums sound good if you don't have like a good budget and a lot of expertise, than it is to just like buy some quality samples and then attempt to make them sound human, I guess. Like but
it's extremely tough.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at, because I'm more into like the technology side of things. Like my day job is like working IT. So yeah, it's just those samples are great. They're not, it's not like it's probably like, I don't know, maybe like Easy Drummer when it's not on sale is like a couple $100, and like the Cannibal Corpse kit was like $80. So it's like, it's not like crazy expensive or anything. And then, it sounds good. I mean, we haven't had like anybody come at us and been like, these are fake drums, bro, we hate you. But, I would just there. I mean, like, so like the band, like, I don't know how to pronounce it very well, but there's that sludge band, like the band that sings about the slugs. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the Slugdja or whatever. They do like kind of prog metal, but
okay. I think I know who you're talking about, but I couldn't say it if I tried.
all their
What's up, Diana?
all their drums are fake, and like it doesn't bother me at all. And I think they have Alan Cassidy from Black Dahlia Murder now. So whenever they do another album, they'll probably have real drums. But yeah, that's just kind of, that's just where I'm at. Someday, if I ever buy a new house and I have like more room down here, or like in a different basement, then like we'll probably get a real kit and all that stuff. But
for sure.
right now, so for right now, we're very much like just a studio only thing, and I just got toys to play with to make some old school heavy metal that I guess is like kind of like new school technology, but old school sound.
Yeah, it definitely has flavor, transcending decades. Like we've talked in the past before on that, when we were talking about the mother of all sin. We talked about Metallica influence, obviously Sabbath, and even possibly some Sleep, because there was a lot of like fuzz play, over those first couple of records. So much that, we talk about how human the drums sound on this record. The guitar sound is even better. The overall production is fucking fabulous. So much that it caught the attention of Doom Charts. Holy shit. And let me tell you, everyone thinks it's fucking easy to land a spot on there. I mean, it's not, especially if you're not a live performing band. So obviously they saw something, and this isn't the first time you guys have caught their attention. So, but for this one, it's like, this record's blowing up. It really is. So the fact that it started in your basement, okay, and collaborated with a drummer who knows basically how to work drums digitally to give it a human sound, because it fooled my ass too. Now, and let me tell you, I mean, I've done probably 12, 13 records over my 25 plus years. So there's a thing, people. I know this might blow your minds, but even if you are recording live drums, that means an actual drummer like myself, you can pick whatever sound you want on your kit, and they can just snap it right on your live acoustic tracks, okay, and give you the sound that you're looking for. Now, I've been pretty lucky over the last couple of years with producers that I've worked with that I kind of beat them up in the studio to get the sound I want.
Sure, yeah.
Just like I know what I'm looking for without losing the acoustic sound. The nice thing about tracks like Queen of the Night, another one of my favorites is, hold on, let me pull it up here. The Countess and Let Them Come. Those two, like, I love those tracks.
Sure, yeah.
The sound, the feel. It doesn't feel so machiney that you just can't get with it. You know what I mean? And like you referenced that one band from before that totally just uses drum machine. I know some grindcore bands that do the same thing and then go out and do shows with 2 guitars, bass, vocals, no drummer, and they have the backing tracks, to do their thing. And let me tell you, unless you have like a tier 1 fucking producer or engineer guy at your show mixing it right, it's hard to pull off. Yeah. So the fact that you actually have an actual drummer who did this makes it a lot different, a lot more special. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and roll the little clip there we got from your drummer right off of YouTube. I fucking love playthrough videos. And the fact that he was like cutting back and forth from mask to no mask, suddenly he became a Bath or Abbott, however you say his name.
Yeah.
He's obviously a black metal fan.
Yeah, actually, I might as well plug his other bands. He joined Illusion of Fate, so he's been playing with them a lot lately. They're like a black metal band from Wisconsin. And he just did
my neck of the woods. Shit.
Sure. And he just joined the band. I don't know if you heard of them, Casket Robbery.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So he's not on the new album. They were just
on Tennessee. What was that called? Metal Devastation.
Festival. Yeah.
So that's one of my bands that I manage. Grave Next Door was on that show.
Oh shit, cool. So yeah,
Mhm.
he played that show. He's not on their new record, but like he's touring with them now. I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know if he'll be a permanent member, but I'll see why not. He did pretty good when I saw him. So
Yeah, I saw a couple of online videos.
yeah, he's pretty good. During COVID, he kind of fucked his elbow up just from like uh, during quarantine, he could just drum all day because he didn't have to go to work. So he was like drumming all day and he was lifting all the time.
Oh shit.
So like I guess he kind of fucked his elbow up a little bit. So like when I approached him about this project, uh, he never actually like programmed drums or anything. So like I just kind of like gave him my other license for Easy Drummer and then just kind of like showed him a little bit and he ran with it. So like this is like a fun project for him where he still gets to work on drums without physically exerting himself because like he does play blast beats for like hours and hours a day. So like having a way to keep having a way to keep drumming without getting sweaty, so to speak, was like appealing to him, I guess. So it's pretty good.
And I've referenced this band in some of our other broadcasts too, not just Reapers Underground, but the Shred and our new show that we have on Saturdays, Tracks from the Damned. Behemoth. Behemoth is one of the most celebrated black metal bands. And they literally went from everything is blast beated, everything is thrashed out to actual fucking groove. After a while, folks, guess what? Drummers can't do it.
Yeah.
They need breaks. As we get older, that's the way it works. Dave Lombardo, same fucking thing.
Right. I will say Inferno is based on the new Behemoth. Like I listened to a little bit, like Inferno is like carrying that band at this point.
That's true.
Because I mean, not that like Nurgle's terrible or anymore. It's just like Nurgle comes in there, he's like, all right, I got some nice arpeggios, boys, and Inferno's like, all right, so that doesn't sound black metal, so I'm gonna have to do all the work to make it black metal, basically. So
well, at the same token, though, I think that they realized there are so many black metal bands out there. They had to do something different a little bit to be
for sure
relevant.
Yeah.
They're actually on tour right now, the new record, and the new record's pretty fucking good, especially at their age.
Yeah, the music, did you see the music video they did for like the first single? It was like super artsy. It was nice. It was a nice music video.
They're one of those bands. It's like their videos just keep getting better and better. Probably because they keep using the cinematic guy that directs, he's done like a lot of movies. So he kind of gets where they're going.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the A24 logo before the next Behemoth single, Yeah, those guys are fun. I saw them with I've seen them a couple times, but most recently I saw them with Gojira and Slipknot, like at an outdoor venue. It was pretty fun.
Minus Slipknot, you had me at everybody else. Don't get me wrong. I love me some classic Slipknot.
Oh yeah, everybody loves classic Slipknot.
The Slipknot of today just sounds, I don't know, just watered down. It doesn't have the same punch. It just doesn't.
I didn't really vibe with that newest record, but I did like I like that Unsainted song a lot off there.
That was okay.
Like the one before. I have one buddy, so I have like my little concert squad that I go to all my shows with, and one of my buddies, Tony, he's like crazy into Slipknot. He's been in that's his favorite band from high school, so it's just like,
oh yeah, of course.
With the homies, you pick up a lot of it through osmosis, and it's fun. It's fun.
Then there's me, who I graduated in '95, so I grew up with like all the greats of the '80s, and
sure.
But then again, I was in my 20s when Slipknot came out, and metal got heavier.
Right.
Mayhem was not the only black metal band on the market. So it's like, ooh, Dimmu Borgir. Oh, Cradle of Filth. Speaking of Cradle
Yep.
of Filth, this record reminds me a lot of Cruelty and the Beast. Not so
Cruelty and the
much
Beast.
with, like the growls and, all that stuff. Just like if you cut Danny Filth out of the mix, you have the chick that does all the operatic vocals.
Sure.
It's kind of what I'm getting from this record, and it's really good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not well versed in Cradle of Filth, but I'll check out Cruelty and the Beast.
Oh shit!
Most
You
of
dig it.
most of the operaticness that like comes out of Brooke is more like a Candlemass or like a Devin Townsend kind of thing. Those are like her big influences for doing that. She does a great job.
I could see that. Candlemass is very high up on my list of Doom bands.
Yeah.
If you're a Doom fan and you don't know Candlemass, something is wrong with you. But yeah, I mean that's a great pull to get your influences from, and it shows. Who predominantly did the concept for this record, or was it a joint effort?
So it was mostly a joint thing. Like
Nice.
I had the idea to do vampire, like some kind of vampire thing after watching that Castlevania anime on Netflix. Like I was like deep in season 2 and like Dracula's
Nice.
brooding and trying to kill all the humans and he's depressed because his wife's dead, and I was like, this is Doom as shit right here. Just a vampire who's immortal who wants to be dead. But I mean the thing that happened,
That's always been his thing.
oh yeah, for sure. But
You
thing that happened is like, I mean, based on the songs, like even though we're like a Doom band, I gotta do the air quotes, like this album has like a lot of like it has like a lot of like slower thrash and like a lot of different
Now you see,
like influence.
that's what I've been trying to say. That's why I've been throwing these bands at you that, like I said, this record kind of like puts you into a crossover situation.
Right.
So naturally, and it's really kind of refreshing, to be honest, that Doom metal fans are still digging the record, even though it crosses over into some of those other genres. So guess what, folks? Been saying it for a long fucking time. Doom fans are not just Doom fans. They love all types of metal.
Yeah.
Except for your purists. It's a little different.
So, like if you take something pure Doom, this is just where I stand, like as a fan of this kind of music, right? So if we're talking like pure Doom, like a pure Doom band that would come to mind for me would be like Reverend Bizarre, where it's like Doom, capital DOOM. And like for me, it's like I love those records for like 2 songs. Like I really love them for like 2 songs, and then I'm like, okay, we have another of the same song. But what I loved about like Candlemass, especially like when you get into like Nightfall and stuff, they'd be like, check out this cool doomy intro, and then they're just like thrash riff. We're chugging, we're palm muted, we're going, and like I always love that about it. So for like every slow Candlemass riff, there's always just like some kind of like bitchin' riff that like picks up the tempo. So like I like kind of the juxtaposition between like, the heavier parts, and then you got like the thrashier parts to like keep it interesting. So that's kind of like what we were going for in this one, is like, we got some thrashy riffs like Candlemass, we got some doomier riffs like Candlemass, and then we got some like fast double bass parts still like Candlemass. Like you still don't have to really like, dip into other genres, because it's like, Candlemass was already dipping pretty hard, so
exactly. Your standard Doom does not involve, or Doom Stoner, if you will, doesn't really involve, double bass at all. And I always said that's what made Black Tar Superstar something a little bit more, unique, because nobody else was doing it. So the fact that you guys got that added to this, I thought just made the overall production better. And let's talk about Chugalicious You.
Yeah.
You have come so far from the guy who just wanted to like, be able to play some Metallica riffs and stuff like that. I mean, you've come a long way and it shows. Just from the little lead parts that I'm hearing over top. And did you also play the bass?
Yeah. Play the bass too.
Fat as fuck.
I mean, it's
but a question from the Peanut Gallery: what do you guys tune to?
So on this record, there's a couple songs, As Darkness Descends and The Slayer. Those are both played on a 7-string, just B standard.
I knew
But
it.
you could just tune a 6-string to B standard and play
You
that.
could.
Almost everything else is just E standard, and then there's like a couple songs where we went drop D. It's
Can't go
really
wrong with Uncle Drop D.
Yeah. But I mean, you can just play them D standard too. I mean, we don't do anything too crazy. And I mean, if you guys are interested in playing along to this stuff, I have some cheap guitar tabs up on our Bandcamp site. You can just I have all the guitar profiles and everything, or the PDF. So if you guys want to play along, you can go pick that up. And but we've done like C sharp tuning. We've done like C tuning on some of our old
C sharp.
We've done some of that on our old record. It pretty much just comes down to I will write a song. Me and Brooke will write melodies together, and then we'll just write them in MIDI. So we just use like a choir to program Brooke's parts. So it's like, here's how the vocals are going to go. We won't even do lyrics yet. It's just, here's how the vocals are going to go. Then we'll write lyrics based on how many syllables we think we need. And then like when Brooke actually goes to sing it, if it's a little like out of her range, then we will actually like move songs up or down, just depending on whatever fits her voice, because we don't have to worry about like live tunings, because we're not playing live right now. So
And that's the big question.
Yeah.
There has got to be by now a want to see you guys live, and I'm going to base that off of this right here. 705 monthly listeners. That means all around the world, people are going to want to see you guys. And
we've got people bugging us, that's for sure.
Exactly. So you guys could have a serious career on your hands. You're brilliant writers.
I mean, for right now, this is just kind of a hobby thing, right? So I mean, because this whole project started with just I wanted to learn guitar, right? So like our first album, His Blessed Book, I wrote that, like, I picked up a guitar and I wrote most of those riffs like within like a month or two of learning the instrument. So like I would come up with riffs and then I would show them to Brooke, and she's classically trained and has a great ear. So she'd be like, these two riffs aren't even in the same key, Kevin. You need to like play it down here, and now it's in the same key, and now they go together. So like she helped me piece that thing together, and like that record's held together with like just a bunch of Scotch tape, and there's no leads. I programmed all the drums myself, but like it was very much a if I'm going to learn guitar, I have to be able to apply it right away, or I'm going to forget these things. So there's like songs on that record where like I'm like, this is the alternate picking song, because I had to learn all like a basic skill like alternate picking, or like a basic skill like palm muting. So this is the palm muting song. And then Mother of All Sin was kind of a lot of those riffs that made the songs were written probably within 6 months of that. So like within the first year of learning guitar, and then like what you're hearing on Vampiric Visions is after I've been taking lessons. So I've been taking lessons
Oh,
for
it
like
shows.
so I've been taking lessons for like a year and a half now, and like basically for an hour, like twice a week. I have a really good professor or like a teacher, or whatever you want to call him, and he does the guest solo on Return Me to Dust. So that's my guitar teacher who
Oh,
does
nice.
that.
Okay.
I asked him for the most boomerific prog solo to end the album, and I think he did a great job. So really
For
happy with
sure.
that.
So I think at this point you could really kind of see that you're becoming almost a virtuoso. The reason I say that is because where you started, you know, most records you don't see like a ton of growth musicianship wise.
Sure.
Most bands have one dynamic. It's what they stick with. It's where they're going, and they stay with it. But it's like I can literally see the evolution. So you've come a long way, my friend.
Well, that's the
Like really good.
that's the well, I mean, thanks. I appreciate that. I mean,
The
it really
world
is
sees
like,
it.
I mean, because we put out that first one so fast, I mean, it really exists as like a benchmark, right? So
For sure.
I'm sure,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm still like not even close to where I want to be. Like, I'd love to just sit down and play, you know, like Master of Puppets full speed, all downstrokes, you know, but it's gonna I'm not there yet. I'm still not there yet. I'm like 80% speed. I think I can do it, which is like probably like 180, 185 BPM. I can do it, but I can't get to that 212 yet, you know, but getting there.
Most musicians, especially guitar players, don't bother to do that. You know,
Weird.
I always have to reference the great Randy Rhoads. Every place they stopped, every city they went in the United States, or if they were in the UK, Randy Rhoads would find like this classical guitar teacher somewhere in the town, whoever was the best, and would sit down and have a fucking lesson with the guy. And we're talking about fucking Randy Rhoads.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the logic there.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. So, like I said, I mean, it definitely fucking shows.
I appreciate
But-
that. Hopefully we'll just be getting better and better.
Oh, and we will get to that in just a moment, right after we take a quick commercial break from my new sponsor over at the Viking Vault.
The Viking Vault.
That is right. If you are an ancestral Viking such as myself, and you need to channel it, Viking Vault has so much that you can get. Anything from talismans to rings, apparel, you name it. You need to check them out. Anything from classic fucking hammers to the Ochnut, Yggdrasil, and more. So, and big shout out to my son. He's known as Klaus Kruger on Facebook, who was the Lear player on that particular commercial.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Gotta get all your bling for the Monomarth show, right?
For sure, for sure. Kyler says, "Ooh, these are pretty. Do they have keychains?" Pretty sure they do. So check it out if you want to check them out there, either on Instagram or Facebook, or I believe it's thevikingvault.org or .com. One of the two. I can't remember. I know. I suck. Anyhow. So let's see, where do we want to go next? So just to kind of show you, we are back, obviously, with Lady Luna and the Devil. There is a pic of her along with him, so that you get a chance to see what she looks like if you haven't caught the first interview that we had on their last album. And if you want to run that again there, Genghis, you can run that again. Didn't mean to cut that off. There we go. TheVikingVault.com. See, I was close. Shit. So all of the imagery that this record is representing, was there a story in mind, or did it kind of just mirror the ideas that you got from that Castlevania series, which I have to admit, I mean, I like it. I do enjoy it. It was kind of a bit weird for me, but there was two on Netflix that I would even kind of, when I listen to your stuff, it reminds me of the Dracula short series that they had on there, and it reminds me of Dracula Untold.
Oh, see, I haven't seen Dracula Untold. I did
You've
watch.
Gotta see it. It's fucking great.
All right. I know that's streaming right now, so I'll definitely check that out.
It is. I was so excited when I saw that. I was at my shop last week and I had some dead time and watched the whole fucking thing again.
The BBC Dracula, the one you're referencing, the TV show, that was that's like 4 episodes. I think I watched half of them. I watched actually like Brooke's not here to attest, but I consumed a ridiculous. She might actually be listening in right now. I know she's just under the weather and laying down. But I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, the '92 one. I watched that a ridiculous amount. That one's hilarious. Love that movie. It's like
hilarious.
No, it's like
man.
So I'm of the opinion that movie is like half genius and half ultra terrible. It just depends on which scene, because like you have Keanu Reeves, who's like forgetting his accent half the time, and it's like it's funny.
You
it's
got
like
me there. You have me right there. I will agree with that. But
set
Gary
pieces,
Oldman, and fucking Sir Anthony Hopkins were geniuses.
But I mean, even like eccentric Anthony Hopkins, where he's just like kind of humping that one guy's leg. It
was ridiculous.
Perfect. It was ridiculous.
That was the whole point, though. The dude was not normal. That's what made him so believable.
So, the like little interlude tracks we have on our album that kind of have the little John Carpenter synth, and then we have our narrator telling the story. That's our friend Mark, and that's him impersonating his best Gary Oldman Dracula. So that was that.
You know what? If you really kind of put them all together, I think Gary Oldman gave us a better version of Prince Vlad than anyone really before him, except for Christopher Lee. There's 2 versions of Dracula. There's the one I fucking love, and then there's the one that's romantic.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because when Christopher Lee played him in all those classic Hammer horror films, he was a badass. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't care who he killed, who he like possessed, whatever. He was the badass of all time. And then, of course, when he found somebody that he actually wanted to live with for eternity, that's when you saw the little bit of passionate side. But with Gary Oldman, you almost kind of got the best of both worlds. Did you ever see the Frank Langella Dracula from like 1978?
I don't think so.
Pretty decent movie, but it concentrated way too much on the romantic side. Gotcha. So by the time the 90s came, it's like you finally got a mixture of fact and fiction. So pretty decent shit. But I'm telling you, if you check out Dracula Untold, you just might like this one better.
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Some of the other stuff that like I was watching was like I like the Nosferatu from the 70s, like the remake.
The
That one's
German
very
remake. Nice.
yeah, that one's
Klaus
that one's
Kinski.
interesting. Yep.
Oh, those Germans get down.
Yep. We
Well,
watched.
as a matter of fact, Nosferatu, the original, was made by German directors originally. So it's kind of interesting to see the evolution from the 20s to then.
Yeah, I thought the 70s one was really cool.
I like that one a lot.
What else do we watch? Well, I watched like Let the Right One In.
Ooh, that was really eerie.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, the other huge one was like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Love Buffy. I've watched that show like a few times over.
I don't care what anybody fucking says. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series, not the movie, the series was bad fucking ass.
Yeah. My boy Spike. Oh,
Spike
someone
was
in the
the
chat.
shit.
Someone in the chat's talking about Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp.
Oh.
I did watch that. I thought that was pretty funny.
So let me pose this question out to the peanut gallery. What did you think of the remake of Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp?
Yeah, I love that one. That's the only one I saw though. I didn't see the. I never saw the
know
OG.
what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Now, oh no, Johnny's hair was awful.
I think that was the point, though. Wasn't that the point? He looked like he was straight. Like
kind of the point.
It looks like it looks like he was shopping at Hot Topic, and they're like, "Hey, bro, just come be in this movie."
Well, if you look at the original series, Barnabas Collins' hair in the 60s was like this awful swoop with hair across. So it only made sense to kind of pay homage to the original guy who played in that show, which if you can imagine that was a daytime soap opera, daytime, werewolves, vampires, the whole bit, and it was fucking beautiful. Then they had a reboot in the 90s with Ben Cross, who I thought played Barnabas like flawlessly. And then suddenly Tim Burton gives us his vision, and it kind of had some fun stuff in there. It wasn't so serious. I mean, it was serious, but it was fucking hilarious at the same time. Man, when he looked at the McDonald's sign for the first time and thought that it was Satan, like he hit the realm of hell somewhere. I'm like, are you serious? It's great. Yeah. I thought it was pretty well done. It was a little bit too goofy, but at the same token, I thought it was good for what it was.
I think that's kind of the point, I guess.
I think it was the point also.
Let's see. Someone in the chat's talking about what we do in the shadows, and I actually
the movie or the series.
So they're talking about the movie, but I'm one of those people that only really watch the series, and I'm like obsessed with the series. So I've tried to go back and watch the movie, and like basically every joke that's in the movie they've done on the show like a little bit better, and I'm just more attached to the show characters. So like I'm in the show group, but I mean it's where I started, so I don't I just like didn't even finish the movie because I'm just like, I would just I'll rewatch the show because like that's my Vampire Squad,
Okay, sorry, didn't mean to make you hungry. Any hoozle. So you've got all these different influences from different films, different shows. Oh, this is interesting. Kyler says, I'm surprised we haven't mentioned Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, so That's interesting. So, speaking about Interview with the Vampire, so I saw that movie in college. I don't really remember it, but I did start watching it. So when we go into, so we got Vampiric Visions Volume 1, and
Correct.
as we go into Volume 2, like we're currently trying to write that thing right now. So at the end of Volume 1, the person who's supposed to go confront the vampire ends up becoming a vampire. So going into Volume 2, there's all this different lore you can draw from. So
Absolutely.
Interview with the Vampire is fascinating because somebody gets turned into a vampire, but they retain their humanity and their morals, and then they slowly lose it over time. Like we're like Brad Pitt's chasing chickens and like try to drink chicken's blood because he won't drink human blood. And then you
He's
have
got a
something,
moral compass.
right? Whereas like something like Dracula or Buffy, Vampire Slayer, like as soon as they turn into a vampire, it's like the human soul is thrown out and a demon
Right.
sets up shop and they're just evil. So like we're currently in the thinking about how we want to tackle it for volume 2. And like some of the coolest vampire content is actually the comic book for Batman versus Dracula. Like
Oh, that is
that's
classic.
yeah, because that one's cool where like he won't drink human blood, and then once he starts drinking human blood, he starts like losing his humanity, and like he knows he's losing his humanity, so he does the typical Bruce Wayne thing where like he constructs a way to like kill all the villains and like keep his humanity, and it's just like it's like wild to unfold. So and like to that point, we are making a comic book for volume 1, so our comic book should be out in December. So that'll like we have some comic book. We have a buddy who like goes to different comic conventions and does like
Sure.
underground comics. So he got himself and a couple of his friends. So like our album is split into 3 acts, so like each act is like 8 pages and it's done by like a different artist, and then we wrote the story.
Sure.
So we're working on finalizing that right now, and you can pre-order that on our Bandcamp, and that'll be out like next month. Right now, it's just physical copies, but we'll probably do like a PDF of it or something, so that people can read it digitally or whatever. Yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
Now that I know that, hopefully you guys can package the CD and the comic book together so I can get it all at once. Because I've been
Yeah.
trying to figure out what package I want to buy, and that just like upped the ante. One of the things that I really love, just kind of getting back
Sure.
to the Interview with the Vampire, I love the loneliness factor. So I could almost kind of see the loneliness factor going into some of your songs, like I've lived all these lifetimes and I'm still alone. Anyone and everyone that I ever cared about has died, but I
Sure.
keep going on because it's like the curse,
Right.
if you will. So that's really cool. I like that how that factors in. It's really interesting to see that you are going to do a second volume, which was actually one of my questions, because I was like, well, if it's volume 1, you must have enough
Yeah.
material for the next record. So that's awesome to know.
Yeah, the plan is to actually do 3 volumes. That would be the plan.
Nice. Okay.
So like kind of keep it with the same production style, and we'll see. So like I can't force the music, because like I could try to sit here and be like, I'm gonna go back to being very doomy, and even if I write a good doom riff, it could still just be boring to me, or like it's not
Absolutely.
stimulating to play, like it's so like I'm only gonna write music that's stimulating, and I don't know what that like. I have I have demos kicking around. I have a riff pile the size of a mountain that I'm wading through, but like
Nice.
we're definitely like, at least with this album especially, it was kind of like we're going to take all the demos I have and we're going to lay them out in a way that has good flow for an album. Like have like the second
That's
real
really what
track.
it's all about right there. Mhm.
Right, like we had like a conscious decision for like Queen of the Night to be the main single, even before it was called Queen of the Night. Just that's going to be the lead single, and I want it to be track 2 because I want like a good song that sets everything up, and then Queen of the Night just slaps. It's like, here's a fast-paced one, keep everybody's interest. And then Let Them Come, which is both me and Brooke's favorite song, is like at the end, and that's to us like the most epic song, like the big climax where the story comes together.
It
so
is.
like
You know,
and
it's very reminiscent of like listening to a King Diamond record, something that is telling a story and, everything from the intro all the way to the last track of the record gives you like the final, this is the big climax, like you said, or
Sure.
it's a climax and a cliffhanger at the same time.
Yeah, so and Brooke wrote Brooke actually wrote the leads for that song in MIDI, so like both guitar solos on that song Brooke actually wrote. Like I would usually have like a small little part of it, and then I'm like, I want to embellish this further, and like she would come up with like a keyboard part, and then I would sit there for like 2 months trying to learn how to play, or trying to like play it up to speed and everything. So that was
For sure.
that was a fun challenge. But I guess the point I'm ultimately trying to make is like, all I can do for next time is like try to write really strong songs, lay them out in a way that makes sense, and then from there that's going to drive the tone of the story. So like I have all this, I guess, pile of vampiric content and all these themes I'd like to explore, but part of the problem with Mother of All Sin is like for me anyways, we laid out, we're going to do a song about each deadly sin. So like Gluttony has to be the doom song, and Wrath has to be the banging song. And like looking back on it, it's like, I also didn't have as much expertise back then, but I was like trying to like force ideas in to like fit the mold to get the thing across. And I want the vampiric vision stuff. I want it to be very.
I thought.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad. There's been a few people that have been like still getting into that one, so it's makes me feel good about that.
I told you I've been excited about you guys for quite some time. So
yeah,
this just like blew the barn doors off for me.
well, I'm glad it's the big thing for this one was just like let it happen more naturally, so it ended up being more of an aggressive kind of story than a doomy story. And Brooke really wanted to make it more cinematic, like more movie-like. So that's like where we have all the sound samples and everything to like, make it more like exciting, make it feel like you're there. So
fuck yeah. And I agree with Kyler. You definitely should check out Queen of the Damned if you did not see that film.
that's the Halle Berry one. That's like
it's not her. It's Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And that's like the sequel to Interview with the Vampire.
Well, it's not exactly. Yeah, it's more of where Lestat began into modern day.
I feel like I just got to read the books.
Separate book. It was a separate book that Anne writes.
I'm actually like, I wouldn't say I'm a huge reader because it's actually been a while since I've read an actual book, but I've been reading comics because we've been working on a comic. But like I think my whole vampire fascination kicked off with reading Salem's Lot. That was like a pretty rad book.
Did you know they're about to do a reboot?
That scares me, but also it's like it excites me, but it scares me. So It is my favorite book by Stephen King. That's my favorite book.
Yeah.
I love it.
One of his best of all time.
But like
apparently
the
Genghis has seen some pics.
Oh,
Nice.
Like it. The first chapter of it, I was so disappointed in the theater, and like I didn't want to watch the second chapter, and like I only recently saw the second chapter of it, and I actually really liked part 2. I thought that was much better than part 1.
Scarier.
part
I would
one is
definitely say
just
that.
part one. It's like
Character
I
development.
yeah, I mean, but I mean the way the book is told, it's like it's not supposed to be segmented into like here's what happens when they're kids and here's what happens when they're adults. Like they're supposed to
Right.
happen simultaneously so that you can see how the trauma of their childhood dictates them as adults. And like I guess like the second chapter, it's just like everything comes together better, I feel. But I know
True
a
that.
lot of people that like didn't read the book, like didn't like chapter 2 and they only like part 1, and just I'm one of those unhappy book people that I just can't be happy. I'll
I
just
do have
read
to
the
say
book.
though, Tim Curry is the better it. He's the
So
better
like
Pennywise.
yes, it's like yes, because I love Tim Curry and like I agree with that, but like the thing that Bill Skarsgård doing when he was like slobbering, he's like drooling everywhere, like with the kid in front of him, and it's like, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well,
They're
when
both
he
cool.
took
They're both cool.
Georgie, yeah, when he took Georgie, it was just like, oh fuck.
Oh,
Definitely
dude,
caught me off guard.
that was just like, oh, are they actually gonna do it? And then they ripped his arm off, and it's like they did it.
Yes. It's like the imagery that you got from the book, they actually smacked it in your face.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, ooh, where did that come from?
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't like this could be like a 3-hour podcast in and of itself, just me dissecting that book versus movie. But the
For
thing
sure.
the thing in the movie that like honestly bugged me is like they tried to take like the figurative like we all float down here, which in the book is literally like you're just a corpse floating in the sewer, but they tried to do
Right.
it with like you're actually hovering, and then they made Beverly float and turn into like this girl that needed to be saved, and then like
It's
Ben kiss.
Hollywood.
Well, I know, and they like have Ben kiss her to get her out of it because like he's the one or that she ends up with, and it was just like she doesn't need to be. Bev didn't need to be saved. She never needed to be saved in the books or anything like that. So I was just some of the
No.
characterization was just like I'm just too much of a book nerd. That's what it is. I'm not one of those people that's
There's
like gonna go on
nothing
Facebook.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
I wish there were more. I mean, I myself read through a book on my way to where I'm at now. So it's like, I wish more people would read. There's so many good stories.
Definitely.
We are most definitely at the top of the hour. So what do you want to leave with the new fans you've made tonight? And I can already tell you've made a few, as well as your fans watching tonight.
So I guess the biggest thing for us is like check us out if you're interested. If you do like this is just a hobby for us. Like we both work IT full time, so don't like feel compelled to buy things or anything like that. But if you're interested in like the comic
So
book,
humble.
well, I mean, it's just like I'm not trying to turn into a CD salesman, like it's fine. So like we do have, like you were saying, we do actually have a CD and a comic and a patch together that you can get for like $20, and we do have tabs if you're a guitar and bass for like $6. So if you want to play along, that's a fun way. But I guess my real biggest thing for anybody listening is like, even if you don't play yet, like this project was entirely started just based on I'm going to learn and I'm going to write songs right away. So even if you don't think that it's worth your time or you're not good enough, just do it anyway. Like there's 60,000 or yeah, like something like 60,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day. And it's like, you can be one of those people. It's okay to get like lost in that shuffle of people. Just put content out there and then you'll slowly get better at it. Because if you're waiting till like you're good enough to release something, it's like no matter how old you are, you're always going to look back at your last album and be like, I could do better than that, So just start now, I guess. That would be the
Oh,
big thing.
trust me, my new project, Fire Mass, is definitely going to unleash hell, as it were.
Good.
So be looking for
Well-
that very, very soon.
Yeah, shoot me a link to your single whenever you got one, man. I'll definitely check it out.
Almost deaf. We're in the baby stages right now. I'm going to do a recording later this month. It's definitely different. So it's
Cool.
definitely me, but it's different. And I like that. The last thing I want to do is redo anything that is Black Tar Superstar. So I want you to see another side of me. But it will be Doomlicious. So sludgy as
Cool.
fuck too.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Again, healing energy to Brooke so she
Thank you.
gets better. And hopefully she'll be able to join us next time. And thank you all out there in Three Witches Land for joining us. Man, thank you. The more comments, the more questions, the more fucking fun it is. You are just as big a part of these interviews as myself and the guest. But always, as you are nestled in your bed, maybe you have a thermometer in your mouth, maybe you don't, but always stay heavy.